Kebe joins us, East Coast. Where are you, my friend? Exactly where are you?
I am just outside of Washington, D.C. on the Virginia side.
Yeah, very nice. Looking very nice there. Nice tree. Looking very festive.
Yes. Mom,
Fantastic.
I moved in with my mother about a year and a half ago. My father, out of nowhere, there was a little bit of a brain cancer situation.
Right.
And 2020 was a challenge, much like it was for everybody.
Yeah.
Those were the final months of my father here with us on this particular planet.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And about September of 2020, he passed away and crossed over.
Yeah.
And, when I first came here, there was it was in March of that year, there was the thought that I was going to Egypt in April.
Yeah.
So I came across the country in a U-Haul with my things from Skydive, Arizona.
Yeah.
And I had gotten myself up to speed at that point. Did not remember the world record at that point. I was just going to go and do it.
Yeah.
That was my modus operandi. And of course, I got here, and about 3, 4, 5 days later, the virus lockdown took place.
Yeah.
And there was being here with my parents for that transition. We managed to laugh every day. Glioblastoma is a very, very difficult one.
I don't know it. Tell me a little bit. I don't really know it.
So, yeah, my mother and I were having a conversation on through Facebook messaging, and she's like, "I gotta go. Your father just passed out." And they took him to the emergency room. He was having equilibrium problems.
Yeah.
It actually started off, her indicators were that he started leaving things open. He started leaving cabinets open. He started leaving garage doors open. He started leaving the refrigerator open.
Yeah.
The door to the car, she came home one day and the sink is running, the door's wide open. And then he started having equilibrium issues. They took him to the hospital and found 2 or 3 small tumors. Don't you think it's strange how we've managed to name cancer 2 more? Like, you're thinking of this thing and you want it to go away, but you're thinking 2 more. I don't know what's up with that paradox there, yeah. But anyway, it's 2. He had 2 or 3 of them, 2 or 3 growths. They went in and pulled 2 out, but what it does, it's kind of resembles a spider or an octopus, and it's the glial glands of the mind. As I understand it, it would be kind of in that edge of the mind where it's able to kind of go in the folds and around the corners and stuff. Yeah, and it's happened in 7-month-old children.
Yeah.
It's so you can't say it's all because of this or all because of that.
My dad, he had an aneurysm. Bang, gone.
Right. Yeah. And I had got a very good friend. She had one of those at the age of 13. Yeah, that's a little hiccup, a little air bubble, so to speak, right?
Yeah, it's a blood vessel bust. A blood vessel broke, and that was the end of him. He was 56. So I'm 54 now, and I'm hoping I make it past 56.
Well, doing what we do,
I know.
Flying, I think certainly helps. It keeps the energy flowing.
How did you get in? What was your life like as a kid? Did you know that you were not gonna be working in a bank or in construction or be a scientist? Did you know you were going down this route, or what? Did you, as a child?
My father was as a helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
Ironically, for
Yeah.
for the Army and then for the Coast Guard his whole life. So for me, it was the target was flying. I did think at one point in time it was going to be military jets. Of course, I think that had a lot to do with the movie Top Gun. There was a good promotion that went on there.
Yeah.
I ended up going to the Merchant Marine Academy, and there was a lot of engineering in my life. And it became about shipboard engineering. And I ended up going on casino boats.
Oh yeah.
But and that was a great form of income. I ended up getting to a chief engineer level really quick. And then I saw this thing though, I needed something more to do. There was something calling me. I heard a radio advertisement for Skydive Chicago, and it was time to do that, as I had woken up hungover one too many times.
Right.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. That alcohol thing has been something for me that was nice to put away for these last 2.5, 3 years. I haven't used alcohol, which has helped quite a bit.
Good man.
And it was a good test when I came back home, because my parents have wine and a couple of drinks here and there, and there's alcohol over their house, but it's not really something that's saying drink me. It's just something that does not what I'm doing anymore. But I used to drink alcohol quite a bit, and stepping into the sky world helped. It was something that I'd been looking for. There's this literal translation of bringing a higher self, a higher us, a higher feeling. What we're now learning is a higher frequency, that feel good thing. And it's all about being where you're at and bring that down to earth. That's what it meant to me. And I did that a couple of tandems, and then I saw the X Games, the first X Games in '95. I saw Rob Harris sky surfing.
Yeah.
Sky surfing can be a very effective tool to drawing people to this sport, to drawing people to sky, and to drawing people to outside sports in general, or pursuing what they want to.
When I first started jumping in 1990, everybody would say, "Are you a sky surfer? Are you a sky surfer? Are you a sky surfer?" And I was like, no.
And was that in Canada, or was that?
No, it was in the UK. My first.
It was.
Yeah. Like
Where
now
about?
everybody asks if you're a wingsuiter, but back then everybody asked if you were a sky surfer.
Right, and I still run into it quite a bit. People come up to me and say that's actually the reason why I got into this sport. So with what's taking place now and the publicity that's happened a little bit with this record,
yeah,
I can see where it might draw a few people to the sport. They might start asking about the sky surfing thing again.
it's an incredible discipline. It really, really is. I mean, I've watched it over the years, and I've lost friends at it, like we all have as well. But
Right.
To see that spin, to see that record you were doing, it's just hard to even understand how you can keep conscious in that. And like I was just talking in the Guinness interview about building up your tolerance to it.
Yes, so I've learned a little bit about that one. Back in 2002,
yeah,
I pursued this record, the same one. I just went about it with a little bit more of a disorganized level, and not as good as communication. The record at that time, that was set in 1999, was 64 rotations in 20 seconds. It's by a man by the name of Chris Gage, and he's a United Kingdom guy.
Yeah, I remember Chris very well. Good friend. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think I had the pleasure of meeting him once or twice, perhaps at a world competition, or saying hi through something online. Maybe I just remember it that way, because of the progression that's that's grown since then. You know, the other day, I was in the shower and I said thank you to him. I just kind of thank you to all of it.
Yeah.
Through the light we are, so to speak, to him and her to thank you back. You know, I was like, all right, it's important to me. Yeah. So I challenged the record back then in 2002 and sent in a video of 74 rotations in 20 seconds. But the record was for the duration, the length of time of the spin. I sent in 20 seconds thinking it was about speed. And, you know, there was some, I didn't have witness forms and things like that. I didn't follow through with it so much. But when somebody asked me in an interview, it was a Gillette World Sports segment. Somebody asked me about what goes on there, and I didn't know any of this terminology. It's your cranial occult nerve, is what some people say cranial nerve. Some people say cranial occult nerve. It's got that word occult. Some people associate it with bad stuff, but it's got other friendly meanings as well. Cranial nerve number 8, the vestibulocochlear. So the cochlear has to do with the hearing, and the vestibular part has to do with balance. There is a bit of a reticular input going on there. I couldn't give you too much information on it other than that right now. But my mind is appreciating that input a little differently as I progress up that ladder to get faster and faster and maintain that spin through the length of a standard 13,500 foot surf. Yeah. Some of the news reports that are going on out there are saying that was from 13,500 feet, but it was actually 15,000 feet. And I put a basement or a hard deck on myself of 5,000 to get out of the spin. Yeah. I'll bring that down from an 8 to a 7 to a 6 to a 5. And I'll be honest with you, I've been working with myself for quite some time, but with myself is with a very large universe of us. Yeah. Going on, and as you find out a little bit more, there's a little bit of, hey, this guy understands some stuff and he can give some good messages to people. Not only is he a good promotional tool for the sport, but there's some higher dimensional aspects that are going on that he's experiencing. So I've actually gone to places where I'm going to get my coffee in the morning or coming back from the gym. Yeah. And thinking, okay, now this was in Arizona. All right, I want to bring my hard deck down to 5,000 today. And I heard in this woman's voice, your hard deck is 6,500 feet. I'm like, okay, never mind. We're staying there right now. There's a higher power. There's a higher power saying, no, not yet, buddy. Yeah, I attribute a little bit of that's developed to that mind's input that's adjusted maybe, but there is some cool stuff I've experienced inside.
There's so much we don't understand about reality, isn't it? We're right scratching the surface of it. You know, as a species, you know, there's depths and depths and depths of what is real and what is reality that we haven't even begin to scratch at yet. It's incredible to hear you talking like this.
Well, thank you. And you know it as well. I saw that picture you diving at, was it the Maldives in your yellow suit? Yeah, that looks awesome. Not everybody gets to experience that in through physical eyes, you know. Wow, this is real. You know, we have so much digital and gaming world going on. I was never really a gaming type person, but the onslaught on everybody's minds having to do with a violent game or sexual stuff that's quite frankly at a level of disrespect in some cases, in many cases that's entirely unacceptable, and that's dragging people down and holding you back, you know. Yeah. It's about flying. It's not about fighting. I mean, even the military guys will tell you that. They're on the planes with us. Nobody wants to run around killing each other. We all want to fly together. That's what it ends up being about.
How's it been for you these last few weeks? Because you've been in the spotlight a little bit. You've had the Guinness record, lots of interviews. Have you enjoyed that? Has it been a nice process, or has it been a bit weird, or what? How's it been?
I'm looking forward to more of it. I think there's been, I've worked alone a lot in my life. I don't know if you've seen. There's been less than you think. It's been a little bit more of keeping myself in the gym, keeping my daily tasks going. I build tables and use this recovered wood and some sacred geometry symbols that I lay on them, and that's also serves as the shop for the boards. I'm kind of refining my processes a little bit right now, but keeping that stuff in motion has been what's been important.
I've just noticed the board behind you.
Yeah. So I put a brass color, a copper color, and a silver color on it. That's called the Tibetan Trinity of Healing Metals. There's a lot of Indian, Nepalese level understandings that kind of helped me get to that decision. So, it's always meaningful for me to change the board or have my preparation for it. Sometimes I'll go out and sand it in the rain, or go to a local water source or pond and use that for the wet sanding process. Not everybody knows that. That's kind of something I do on my own. And then in the center of it is a flower of life and a Metatron's cube symbol. And then I used an emerald color in reference to the emerald tablets, which were said to have been stored in those pyramids at one point in time. And I didn't know that until during 2020 at some point in time. So it was kind of one of these real full circle things that was awesome to me.
When you look at that board now, how do you feel? What's your first reaction when you look at it, when you see it?
There's a contentment, a happiness. There's also I got to get in the shop and build a couple more boards because I don't want to use that one too much more. I want to use a new one. I popped a rail on landing. One of the rails hit a rock on landing. You know how rocky it is there. Yeah. I thought I was going to land it in the wind arrow, the little carpeted area, and it hit one of the border rocks on its landing. But there's a couple more boards I have on the table right now. It'll be fun to put those together, and more importantly, getting the introductory and novice boards together as well as a program. I've got a lot of people that are asking, how do I do this safely? And I've seen that over the years. And when you're working alone, the way I was over many years, while I was in Savannah, Georgia, you kind of think about, well, how is this going to work when I get to that point? You got to look out for the safety of people, because as soon as something like this happens, guys start grabbing boards out of the closet.
Yeah.
Throw it on and manage to get away with going up in a plane. The guy might have the greatest set of skills going into it or be perfectly prepared, but the next thing you know, he opens at 3,000 feet because that's what he's used to doing, and he doesn't have enough altitude as soon as he gets a line twist because my feet are bound. How do I get out of this line twist? Starting off at opening at, you got to go back to the beginning. You got to open up at 5,000, 5,500. And you got to put yourself through a student progression. It's the same thing. It's just with a stick on your feet. And you start with a short stick, a short board, and you use it sideways configuration so that you can arch. As soon as you're out of control, you arch, you curl the board up behind you in this scorpion type position. and you take it from there. Hey, one second, I've got to turn something off in the kitchen. It's
Sure,
beeping.
go for it.
Right, one second. Yeah. So
You've got people queuing up. You've got a bit of a school starting, or what?
I went to start a school with Omar in Skydive, Arizona back in '97, and I was fortunate enough to have had quite a bit of students in that process, and I was taught to instruct by Jerry Loftus, who started sky surfing back in '88.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a timing with who started it in France and who started in California, and it's right around the same time. I've seen that with some other things.
Yeah.
These guys aren't even talking to each other, but they end up trying the same thing at the same time in different sides of the planet.
It was Patrick de Guillard in France, wasn't it? Was it Patrick?
Actually, I understand it is either a Laurent Bouquet.
Yeah.
I think that's his name. And then there's another name I've heard recently as well, or since then. I'll have to get back to you on those, but that's
really
also
interesting. It's really interesting to figure out. Yeah.
Some of that stuff is what I'll put in the little blue book, as I'm calling it, the guidelines book.
Yeah.
I've got to get that done in this next month or two. There's an article coming out in Parachutist that'll serve as a little bit of reflecting on the record, but also as a little bit of a warning. Hey, if you're going to pick up a board, you might want to talk to somebody first. And a little bit of a thank you to the DZOs of, don't just let anybody throw one of these boards on and hop out of a plane. There's a safety responsibility going on here to everybody as well.
I'm thinking of Sammy Veselev was with a team, wasn't he, back in the day there? Was he filming Sammy? Wrong recollection.
There's two Sammys.
Bulgarian Sammy.
Both of it's. Yeah, he's out in Vegas now. Yeah,
that's right. He's got a drop zone there, hasn't
he? Yeah, red and white. He's the Fisher Space Pen guy. Yeah. At one point in time, he was sponsored by Fisher Space Pen, and he showed up and gave me one of them. I still carried around in my wallet for the longest time.
And then my hero in Spain was Vivian, the girl. Well, she was down in Ampurias Bravo when I kind of really first started, and I was just enthralled about what she was doing. So.
Yeah, yes, I was fortunate enough to fly with Bruno Broken on the record in at the Jump Like a Pharaoh event, and she surfed over a volcano in Chile at one point in time, which is a really, really cool thing she did there, and then landed on the top of on the edge of the volcano and snowboarded down. She's quite the board genius. She also has a small clothing line now that makes use of old repurposed kites from kite surfing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what she. Yes, I remember something about that. So what's next for you then? After your Christmas time with your mother? What's your plan?
Well, there's a little bit of a further development with some media and thanking Mahmoud Mahmoud and Mustafa for putting together such an awesome event. There's a little bit of a commitment on getting some articles out there that have to do with the sporting aspect, the metaphysical aspect. That's been a personal quest to get some information out there. So there's a little bit of putting that together. There's a writing endeavor, and the board book, the guidebook on how to sky surf safely. That's really it.
That sounds like a perfect title. A perfect title. You don't need any other name for it than that. That is the title for the book.
There's a meeting I have later today online with a virtual reality group.
Yeah.
And while there's us that hop out of planes with parachutes on our feet, that are fascinated with the sky surfing part, yet not everybody's going to try it, but they'd love to understand more about it. There's those that don't fly their bodies yet, who are very curious about it, who are board sport enthusiasts, or quite frankly, simply Silver Surfer comic book enthusiasts that are curious about it. And I could see something, I'd like to pursue something with the virtual reality side of things, how to guide some people how to do things that way. But I think there's a safe process to doing that. I don't understand exactly where we are with things, and the group that I'm talking with, it has to do with some safety parameters, safety aspects, and learning education in the classroom for children, and using VR in the future. And I started giving her some of my outlooks there, and there's some respect issues for women that I think we have a large imbalance on, having to do with the electronic side of things. There's a internet reform issue, there's a virtual reality aspect, and then there's a robotics issue. I think that a lot of those we need to have a very strong stance on. I understand freedom of speech and free enterprise, but there's a balance and a respect for women that's got to be maintained, for identity. Yeah. These things, these fingerprints are your identity. We're not allowed to copy each other's fingerprints, are we? Well, this is a fingerprint as well. Yeah. Those are called whorls, and that's called a whorl, and this is part of your identity. You can't be ripping each other off and extorting each other. And you've got a little problem that's starting to develop in the virtual reality world that would be nice to address.
Interesting.
But I've got a personal endeavor in the virtual reality world as well. So I don't want to be this sign-holding guy that's saying no to virtual reality. No, I want that to
You're leading the way. You're leading the way.
Robotics as well. It's saying no to artificial intelligence. Now, that's not going to do it. It's going there. Yeah. But let's do it responsibly, So I'm looking forward.
We're kind of out of time, but it's been absolutely fascinating to spend this 40 minutes with you. Really, really.
Yeah. Really. We just talked for 40 minutes. Awesome.
We could go on for hours. We're gonna have to get you back for a part 2 in the new year.
Well, as I put together the student program, I'm pretty confident that we could go through how somebody learns safely in a short period of time. It can be very fascinating just to see how the proper process works. It's methodical, it's safe. You don't have to put yourself in danger to learn how to do it. It's the same thing. Go out, all you do is learn how to pull on your belly, dragging the board behind you, and pull at 5,000 feet. That's the key to starting, and take it from there.
Let's check in with it in the new year. Let's do that. Thanks for joining me. I want to wish best wishes to you and your mother and your family, and have a great Christmas.
Yes, you as well.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Reagan. Ciao.
Bye-bye.